What do you do when it's your time to mourn, to cry, to grieve? Grief can be a lonely road. Where does it start and where does it end? Join us on this intimate journey of discovery, healing, and transformation. This documentary will explore the many facets of grief.
Grief is that hollow part inside you, that emptiness that you can't sometimes feel. It's like something's been ripped from you and you don't know how to fix it. A hurting spot, uncomfortable spot. Yeah.
And I guess my next question is, do you ever get comfortable with something as uncomfortable as grief and death?
I think you can bear it because of who you know, who I belong to. I belong to God, and I know that my daughter belonged to God. Without him, I would not be able to make it. So it's never going to be comfortable. It's going to be manageable through faith. Yeah. But anything can trigger it. It could be a song, it could be a show, it could be a person on the street. My daughter had a sister by her father, and she sent me this picture that her friend sent her, and it looked like an adult version of my daughter, and it just sent me there. Because it looked like what she would look like when she got 30. So it's never, there are going to be trigger points all your life. And if you really love that person, you're going to always remember something about them, feel them. Yeah.
What is one thing that you want people to know about Jessica? Who she was as a person?
She was a strong, mature mind, more mature than she should have been. She was far more beyond her age. She was beyond 18. She had advice for me as a adult that I should have been taking from her, that she was just so wise.
How old was she when she transitioned?
She was 18.
She was 18. When we think about journeys, I always look at it as if we were thinking about a doorway, and it's like you cross over into a threshold at the moment that we lose our loved one. And I kind of want you to kind of go back and kind of, remember the days, the weeks that kind of led up to that moment. What were you feeling? What were you going through?
It was disbelief. Just 1 second. It was just disbelief because of, you think of an adult, a teenage daughter, a teenage child, you expect to, first of all, bury your children to bury you, not your children. You bury your children. And before that, she had gotten sick, and they started sending her to a specialist, infectious disease specialist. And she said, I'm going to run a couple of more tests. We've done about 7 to 8 tests, and everything is negative. She graduated in May. in June is when the doctor said, I'm going to do a couple of more tests and I will come back and let you know the results. Well, she said, I'm going to do the virus test. I was like, devastated in my head because I'm thinking, this can't be. This can't be. Had talked to her, and it was her first time having intercourse with a boy.
Mm-hmm.
And, you have to be careful about who you give yourself to as a teenager, as a person, a human, because everybody's not truthful. And he wasn't being truthful to her. Well, the test came back, and the doctor was coming down the hall, and I was too. And she started crying. And I knew then that my baby had the virus. But it was just still like a shock, like a bad dream. Something's not right. Before I got all that, she would be in the hospital and we would go to visit her, stay around the clock. And she would, say that the doctor would ask her, did you have multiple partners? Have you ever been with somebody else? And she said that was her first.
Mm-hmm.
So she said that afterwards, though, she met people, guys, and she said, but she had never slept with him.
Mm-hmm.
The part that was disheartening was she had a bright future ahead of her,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody took it from her. I blamed myself for a while. I did. I blamed myself because I said, if I was a better parent, maybe I would have caught this. Maybe I wouldn't have let her go out with this boy. But it wasn't me. It was, I don't want to say fate. I don't want to say fate. I want to say we all have a number. We just don't know how we're going out. But her catching HIV taught me and my friends something. So in everyone's death, there's a lesson. She was hurt. She was like, she was going to lose all her friends. No one was going to like her. They was going to think she was nasty. She was never going to get married. She was never going to have kids. And the nurses and doctors with me working at the hospital would always talk to her and say, people, they get through this and they get married, they have kids. She said, I'm never going to do that. My friends are never going to talk to me anymore. So she wasn't handling it well. And then she decided that, I think she gave up the fight. I may be wrong, but I think she gave up the fight because of all the pain. And we can only imagine what that pain is, but she would have foot pain, feet pain, leg pain. I mean, this 18-year-old just falling apart, like her bones would hurt. And she said, I'm tired of this. And I would say, for me and my son, I would say, I just want you to fight for us. She said, but I'm tired. So that's when I think Jessica gave up. She was a mature child in the Lord, more mature than her mom.
Because it sounds like she had a real understanding that she was more than a body.
Yeah.
That her soul, that when she said, I'm tired, that she knew that there was a place outside of being trapped in that body, that there was a place of peace, that there was a place where that she wouldn't have to experience that experience. But it sounds like that she knew and believed that, there was going to be something better.
Yeah.
Well,
the chaplain said that every night she would go up and, the nights that we wasn't there, that she would go up and, read the Bible with Jessica. And she said that she was amazed how much she knew. I was amazed because at that time, I didn't know God like my daughter did. Mm-hmm. She said, those that soldiers the army came to visit me. And I was like, some strong meds. She was like, no, they were in army fatigue and they had wings.
Mm.
And I was like, no, I don't want to hear this. Yeah, they got y'all on, you on too much medicine. And her dad would say, well, you need to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And the TV was off.
Mm-hmm.
And she said to me, those streets are made of gold. And I was like, I don't want to hear it. I didn't want to accept. Mm-hmm. And she said, you can't see it? It's right there. She was looking at the TV like it was right there. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to accept it.
When it happened, the day that it happened, take us there and tell us about that day.
The day it happened, I wasn't at the hospital. I was at the hospital when it happened, but I wasn't at the hospital that morning. And I got there early that morning. As a matter of fact, I think Tony picked me up, and she went to work she was doing blood gases then. And I went in the room, and Jessica was just laying there looking at me. And I was like, are you okay? She wasn't saying anything. And the nurse came in and said, she didn't want to get in the bed. So she just got in the bed. She's been up all night. I was like, you should have called me. And I was angry at them for not calling me. And he said, well, we're going to get a blood gas now because, she was incoherent. Yeah. So I was like, okay. They got the blood gas. And at this particular time, they take the needle and stick it in the artery, not the vein, which is very painful. And the first couple of times they did this before, we had to hold her down. This particular time, this morning, they did it, and she just lay there. They just looked at me, and I was like, baby, are you here? Are you here? And so they took the blood gas down to Tony, and Tony starts texting me. And they tell me that they're going to take her to ICU to put on the ventilator so her heart can rest. She was like, no, do that. And I was like, yeah, I want to do it because you might need to rest right now. I think it's best to put you on it. She kept saying, I don't want that. And that was the first time talking to me after. Now I just told you she was looking at me, staring. And she didn't want it. I was like, please, for me. So she did. So they took her upstairs and they put her in the ICU. And I had called her dad. And he was there actually before the test results came back. His daughter came, her sister. And all of us, it was like a waiting. You knew something was going to happen, but you just didn't know. I kept going in and rubbing her head and talking to her. And I might be wrong. That's not the day she passed. But that's a significant day to me. Because I think that's the day she knew that if she went on the ventilator, she wasn't coming home.
Is that the day that you kind of realized that you actually prepared?
Yeah, that's the day that I told her in her ear that it's in God's hand and it's God's will. Whatever happens, but that I loved her. I realized that through it all, she was telling this chaplain I don't want to worry my mom. I don't want her blood pressure to go up. So I don't want to talk about certain things. I don't want to make her worry about me. But that particular moment made me realize she had been carrying me through this. She was there for me. I felt like she was there for me more than me being in the place of holding her up. She knew what was happening. I just realized a couple of weeks ago about we thinking that death is it. And I heard a preacher say that, who's to say you open up another door to a more better world? Not so much as the earth that we are on now, but a better door than which, what we expect. I think, like you say, she knew a lot because she wrote a poem about leaving us in the hospital. And we put that in her obituary. I think at first it was just me thinking that I was a bad parent. I even said for my wrongdoing, God was punishing my daughters because that's what the church made us believe. When she told me, she said, "It's not your fault. You're a great mom. You were a great mom. It was my decision to have sexual intercourse. This was my choice, but I didn't know I was going to get this." And she didn't want me to beat myself up. I had a lot to deal with when she transitioned because my son was angry with God. He was 13 and he was like, how could there be a God to take my sister, my best friend? At that age, they were just becoming friends where they wasn't bickering at each other. And I was blaming God too. Why not me? How was I here? As I said, I blamed myself because I was doing wrong. So I was like, why not me? Why take my child? Until my son said one day, because I tried to end my life. I tried to end me and my son's life because I didn't want to leave him back here for him to go through stuff. So I was driving. You are not from here, but there's a Lakewood freeway. And at the end of the expressway, there's nothing. So, but barricades, so I drove real fast. And he was like, this is not what she would want. This is not what she would want, Mom. She wouldn't want us to die like this. She wouldn't want us to miss her to where we take our lives. What if we don't see her? What if we don't know what's on the other side? And I just stopped and thought about it. I don't know what is on the other side. I don't know what I was doing to me and him. We as a Black race think it's something wrong with talking to somebody about it. Me, myself, I don't want nobody to call me crazy. The doctor offered to give me medicines to help me rest. I don't want that. I don't need that. But actually, I did need somebody to talk to.
I've often heard, because I come from a very religious background as well, and everything is just, just pray about it. Just pray about it. But, I've heard a wise bishop who told me once that there are some things that you help you pray for, and then there's some help you pay for. Yeah. And it's okay to do both of them.
it was years of accepting that she's not here. You know, not expecting her to come home, come through the door, come to my job. I stayed out for a whole year in the process. And when I went back, she would come to my job for lunch. Her school was North Atlanta, and she would get out of school early because she had the work study program, and come to my job to have lunch with me. So I would look to see her coming up those halls. It was just still unreal. Before, when my daughter got sick, you know, I would pray, but I didn't really know that God was on my side. I really didn't know it for a long time. But I know now that he had to be there all the way, because otherwise I probably wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have made it through that. No, I wouldn't have made it through that. And you know, I hear people say you're stronger than you think to have went through all the things you went through. That's God's strength, because it wasn't me. The me inside was collapsing. And it brought me a closer walk with God. Losing her, all I had was him to keep my head up. And I had to ask him for forgiveness for not being there for him. Mm-hmm. You know how we know God's there. We take for granted that God's there for us. And I think in that time I was taking for granted God's grace and his favor, his love, his undenying love, because he didn't stop loving me, you know, because I thought he was punishing my daughter. But, you know, that's crazy. God loves all of us. Why would he punish us? We would go to the hospital and not knowing how much pain this child was in. She, you know, I told you she thought she was going to lose all her friends. So her best friend came to the hospital, and her name was Joy. And she said, you know, she said, anything I can get for you? She said, yeah, you can give me some gin. I was like, what? You know, you drinking? And she was like, I just need something straight to take this pain away. But it was, the laughter was, what you know about gin? You know, we was going to have the funeral in a chapel. There wasn't no whole chapel. So we ended up having to have the church that was next door to the chapel. And still didn't hold the people. I mean, kindergarten teachers, first grade teachers showed up. I mean, I don't even know how they know. Mm-hmm. So it showed me that she wasn't only my light. She was her light. Now, how do I go on without her? But I'm not without her.
You still feel her presence?
I still feel her presence. And it may be just my mind, but sometimes I can hear her call my name. Talk to me, you know. The sensible stuff when I'm finna do something crazy. You know, it's like, and it may just be my conscience, but it sounds like her voice.
If Jessica were to walk into this room right now, and you could say one thing to her, what would you say?
I miss you so much. I miss your smile. Not in my memory. I miss seeing it. I miss hugging you, smelling you. It may sound crazy. I miss you.
And in return, what do you think she would say to you?
I miss you too, Mom. And I love you so much. It may seem hard now, But you've not lost a child. That child will always be with you forever. You've lost a shell that walks around. That spirit will always be with you. I know. And if you could give yourself time to feel it, you will. You will feel your child again. And you'll understand. We may not have wanted to lose them. But in order for things to go on the way God plans, it was necessary for them to leave. It gets brighter. It's not going to be right around the corner. It's not going to be right around the corner, but it gets brighter.